Infinite love and gratitude. My name is Love Spirit, and I'm an empath. I can easily talk to the dead. I feel energy, and my intention is to allow the dead to speak. Today we're going to talk about Sandra Bland, very close to my heart. Now, she passed away in 2015, and July 2015, and they say around 9 a.m. in the morning. They say, the report says asphyxiation ruled a suicide, but I actually talked to her the other night, and I've known about this case for since it happened in 2015. And you're probably wondering, well, what took me so long? I don't know. It just comes to me, when it's time for me to talk to somebody. It just kind of happens spontaneously, and I could be laying in bed or looking at TV or just out and about, and that person's spirit comes to me. It's just like that. It's very random, and but this case, it made me really, really angry. And I think it's because her spirit came through, and I felt her energy, and so that anger was really her. I really can take on people's energy. So I'm going to tell you what she told me, and you can follow your spirit, and if it feels right to you, then listen. If it doesn't feel right to you, what I'm saying, then that's fine. But I don't guarantee anything. I'm just speaking from my spirit. And what I had a discussion with her the other night while I was laying in bed, literally. I asked her, how was she? And she said to me, I can't believe I died over such a small parking violation. I cannot fucking believe it. She's like in shock that she was so excited and that this is what happened. And she feels like it was so nebulous, so ridiculous, and she is really angry that such a small situation got so crazy. And she feels like she kind of created it. Like she was so angry at white people, and she was so angry at the mistreatment of black people that she feels like she kind of manifested it in her life. Whatever you focus on, you grow. And she feels like that she was so angry that she attracted the thing that made her anger grow. And she attracted a white police officer who has a propensity for hurting and targeting blacks. And she just felt like she created it, completely created it. And then she feels like she created it, and she's angry. It's like hindsight 2020. After she was murdered, and I'm going to tell you about that in a minute, but she is livid. She's a very educated black woman, and she's like, what the fuck? And then she thought about Oprah and Maya Angelou. After she was murdered, she thought they were right. Whatever you focus on, you create. whatever you focus on, you grow. And so she's angry at herself for moving to a very, very racist, dangerous state like Texas and totally creating that situation. She should have been, the goal would be to, get that ticket, know that you're targeted, and then get out of there alive. And she said she should have known that. She knows all these things, but she didn't. She shouldn't have had an attitude because she knows how things escalate with white cops, and she really regrets that. She's angry and she regrets it. Then I asked her exactly what happened that night, and they intentionally put her in the big room out of sight, and she was sleeping, and she was really asleep, and she woke up to being choked out, and she opened her eyes, and it was dark, but it was a large white male with brunette hair, probably around his 50s, big guy. She couldn't fight back because he was like sitting on her legs, and um, he was also sitting like on her arms. So the arms are straight down, and his legs were on her arms and on her torso. So she couldn't kick or do anything, and she was taken off guard. And it was all set up, and just one other person knows about this, and this has happened at least 3 or 4 times before in that jail, where they choked out people, and this has happened before. The reason they did it is they knew she would be trouble, and they knew that she would bring a lot of attention, and that she would sue them, because she told them over and over, "I'm going to sue you," which was a big mistake. She was not depressed. They caught her off guard, and then of course they know exactly what to do. They put a bag around her neck and made it seem like it was a hanging, and that's it. That's what happened. And then they let her be that way the rest of the evening, so the bag would make like an indentation, as if you thought it was a person. And she couldn't believe it. She was just in shock. She was in shock. But she went unconscious, and she was just in a state of shock. She went unconscious, and that's it. And so she didn't really suffer, because when you're being asphyxiated, you go unconscious before you die. So, and then it takes a while for the body organs to die. It takes like an hour, a couple hours. So she wasn't in pain or anything. She went unconscious, and then she died. And then she stood up. She was in the room watching herself being choked, and she said, "Ain't this a bitch? I be damned." And she said, "Over a ticket, and they doing it again. They're gonna get away with it again." And she's watching herself being killed. They're gonna get away with it again. So there's no name on the guy. All she knows, all I can see, I mean, there's no name tag. Of course, it would be a name tag, but all I can tell you is he's heavy set. He's about 6'1", brown eyes. He's a smoker, drinker. He has bad skin, and he has brunette hair. He's about 50. He's been there for a while, and it was planned. Whenever they kill somebody there, it's planned. and they've killed about three other people, making Sandra the number four. And they hate black people. You know, they think black people are ruining the planet. So they just hate them. And they make a lot of money. If you do a forensics of their accounting and how they make their money, it'll be 70-80% black people are paying for that station if you do a forensic on their books. She has a message for her mother, and she's shaking her head, and she's like, "I'm really sorry. I should have known better. I'm educated. I should have known not to have an attitude and escalate it." And she says, "I really regret telling them I'm going to sue them because they literally kidnapped me because I told them I was going to sue them. And I really regret it. I should not have threatened them. I shouldn't have threatened them." What a waste. What a fucking waste. Assholes. That's what she says. I mean, she's pissed off because she shouldn't have created that energy. Because she had seen many black people who are angry and demand their civil rights, and they get killed. And she knows that. She knows that if we speak up, if we assert our civil rights, we are killed. And she knew that. So, to find her killer, two things. I would find out, this is what she's telling me. I would do a forensic and find out how many people did they stop, how many are black, who were the main people who stopped them. And I would also find out, if you can, the police officers that are working there, have they had prior problems with people that they've arrested? Like, did they end up dead? And then I would go back and find out anyone who meets that description, if they're still there or if they've been transferred out. And you'll be able to find the person. She says, but you gotta put your focus on the police officers there for the last 3 years and see if you can find one that meets the description. And he's done this before. They've killed people before. It's a bigger case than you think. And this is something that's also rampant across the country. You know, I mean, if we see them killing, say, 10 people on camera, there's 100 that are off a camera that they kill. And let me see anything else. No, that's about it. She's just she apologizes to her mom. She goes to her mom's house all the time. She'll be in the kitchen with her mom when her mom's in the kitchen. She loves being in the kitchen with her mom. And she tries to talk to her mom. Like, she'll make a tapping noise. She'll try to make a tapping noise. Something. She tries to connect with her mom. And she's really mad and really sorry to her mom. I'm really sorry. I should have been so focused on the injustice of the world. I should have gone there with an open heart and tried to change the world with love. That's what she learned. That you know, when you're faced with evil, you need to give it love. That's what she learned. Well, that's my reading, my empathic reading, talking to Sandra Bland. And I hope somebody goes out there and does that research and finds that guy. Also, you might be able to go into that jail cell and fingerprints. And were there any fingerprints lifted from her throat? Anything like that? Were there any bruising on her forearm? Was there any bruising on her torso where he sat on her? things like that, like on the upper thigh. So that's what I would do if I was to investigate this. So anyway, my name is Love Spirit, and I talk to the dead so I can find out what happened to our loved ones. If you if you speak to the dead, feel free and send me a video. And if you have a request of somebody you want me to contact, just send me their name and number below. I have my number and stuff there. And that's that. Okay, love you all. Have a good day.